So, welcome to All Angles. Words are hard.
Wow, what just happened? You thought I glitched earlier.
Yeah, that was just a real life glitch. Welcome to the All Angles podcast. This is episode 31, and we have a guest in a genre we're yet to have. I told Cookie very little, and I found these people. So the other day I was browsing, and I found these like 4 girls. Their names are Carissa, Britt, Sarah, and something. Dom is one of them. That's the girl. Dom is on there. She's actually from my neck of the woods originally. But anyway, they're talking and there's metal playing, and I was like, oh shit, okay. And so I'm sitting there, and then they're talking to this other person in there, and he's talking about his band, and they're all metal. They're all listening to metal. So I was like immediately locked in. And so I started talking about this band. They started playing him live, and I went and checked them out. And when you listen to recordings and stuff, like this day and age, everybody's got a computer and Pro Tools that can record, but this is clean. It sounds really good. And then I saw him live again today, and it was pretty cool because I guess they were played on local radio, which is always a really cool thing. This day and age, like the music industry from when I was in bands is so different. I have no idea what it's about these days or how to do it. But they were on the radio locally where he's from, which he is from El Paso. I don't think the whole band is from there. And we already have discussed our history with El Paso. And it's a place we'll never... What's the first word that comes to mind when I say El Paso?
Well, you know what I'm going to say, and the funny part is I've never been there, but it's Tortuga.
Absolutely, it's Tortuga. It's the place that's infamous. But... coughing. But... I'm just dying before everybody's eyes. But yeah, they're from there, and then he was on today streaming because his band ended up getting played on UK radio, which is really cool. I mean, just obviously spreading the word of them. But listening to the music, they're on Spotify. I'm pretty sure they're on Google Play. They're on a bunch of stuff. He'll be able to tell us more about them. His name on there is DJ Frankus. He's the vocalist of the band. And I never got his first name, so I guess we're going to find out. And so today we have joining us the vocalist of the band, Until the Avalanche, which is a sick name. And he's going to be telling us about their band. We don't know anything about them.
There's a lot of avalanches in El Paso, I hear.
There are tons of them there. There's sand avalanches, there's bullet avalanches, that kind of stuff. So, but that's who we got joining us today. Gas EP 1004 and the date.
Hey,
there he is.
All right. My computer just decided to completely crap out on me.
We were blaming El Paso internet.
Yeah, pretty much.
So before we get started in here, I got to tell you the first funny thing is me and this is my co-host Cliff Cook. We actually used to coach hockey together in Texas and in New Mexico, and we coached against each other. And we've been friends now for 15 years or so. But so with me and Cookie here, we actually have ties to El Paso. I was telling you earlier, we used to coach against the Rhinos. And me and the coaches, and Cookie never came out, but me and some of the other coaches would always go out to Tortuga out there and go to the bar. And it was great because we had all the girls buying us drinks, and we felt so popular there.
That's what happens in El Paso.
Well, Frankus, first of all, thanks for coming on at short notice. I was telling Cookie a little bit about your band earlier, about getting some radio play over in the UK today, which is
sick,
mad cool.
Yeah.
But so the way we do these is we don't do a lot of like pre-research. When we talk to people, we like to kind of learn on the spot. But Cookie looked up a little bit, and the funny thing, first thing he noticed, because we're both hockey coaches, is he noticed the jerseys in the background, and obviously wearing the Crosby one, which I gave you shit about earlier as well.
Yeah.
Working for the Caps and everything like that. But we actually have a full day dedicated to sports, so we'll get you back for that one of these days. But the band is called Until the Avalanche, which, by the way, phenomenal name. There's a lot of band names out there that miss the mark, and great name. But tell us a little bit about the origins of the band, like how you guys got together. I think you were saying earlier you're not even all in El Paso.
So initially we started in El Paso. I joined the band. They were a band before under a different name. It's funny, we met randomly at Warped Tour, kind of. So I had been in a band prior. We had to split up. The guys wanted to go more pop punk. Wasn't my vibe. So I was doing a lot of tour managing for some other bands, and then I came back and I was like, I wanna jump in and get back into playing shows. And from there I went to a Warped Tour. It was a pretty heavy band that was playing. Nobody was moving. It was kind of annoying. I looked to the guy to my right and was like, I kind of gave him you want to go? Like, let's start this kind of like little nod. And so we opened the pit, and then shortly after that, I had taken to Twitter and I was like, I want to start a band. And this guy hit me up and was like, yo, it's me, the guy that started the pit with you. Do you want to come try out for us? And I was like, hell yeah. So I went out there, tried out, and yeah, we started it up. Right now, like you said, we lived in 3 different states. My guitar player did his master's in Arizona, so he's got a job doing counseling as well as social work. I work for a bank out of Texas called First National. And then we have our other guitar player. He does a million different things all at once, so he's just all over the place.
I would have figured it was the bassists. Bassists are always the weird guys in the.
They are. So our old bass player was like the Mexican Edward Cullen. We used to call him that all the time. We felt like he was gonna sparkle, but yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of when you said that too. That's crazy. So with you guys being together, I mean, and obviously the distance, the recordings are great. We'll get into that a little bit in a little while here, but what's your live show been like? I mean, how have you guys been on tour? Like, we literally don't know anything about you. I told Cookie how I discovered you was on the other girls' not their podcast, but their TikTok live. Found you there, listened to the music, and this has only been within a couple days. So I haven't been able to do my own deep dive yet. So I mean, are you guys out like doing your? Have you guys been out playing shows and touring or anything like that yet?
So when we first got together, we came out kind of booming. We recorded and wrote like an EP within a 2-week span. We started hopping on shows left and right. Then we started getting onto a lot more bigger shows out here in El Paso. So any huge, like the national tours that we're hitting, we were opening for. And then we kind of hit like a very tough spot. Our drummer at the time got in a lot of legal trouble. So he had to move. He moved to Austin, and we hit a complete stop. We kind of went on a hiatus, we were still writing material, but we didn't have a solid lineup in place. So it became extremely difficult to play shows. We started playing shows with the fill-in members, and it never hit. I don't know if you were in there, John, when we were talking about. So I have end-stage liver cirrhosis from my partying days with those guys, with my band. So at the beginning of 2023, end of 2022, I was diagnosed. I got really sick, and I had a lot of downtime because I was in recovery. So I took to TikTok to kind of find ways to find people that were going through the same situation. I started posting our music out there, and it just kind of took a life of its own. We re-released our second EP, which is called Malevolent Eyes. And that's kind of like what took off. And, you know, we released the 2 new singles just fairly recently. And it's been crazy the amount of just, like I said, like TikTok took it and just, it ran with it. And it's ridiculous. Like we're so thankful and grateful because we were in a spot where we were not doing anything, and now it's just like everything is just hitting us back to back to back to back to back.
What's the music scene like in El Paso? Now, I'm a native Texan as well. I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. My only musical background, as John knows, is as a photographer. I shot bands in DFW for many years. Some of that stuff's behind me here, but you know, you mentioned your drummer going to Austin, obviously huge music town. Dallas has got a great scene as well. What's El Paso like?
So we're one of the few bands that are like us in El Paso. That's not to say that there aren't bands that are kind of in that same vein. It's more of like the straight hardcore, like tough guy hardcore scene. So we don't really fit in because we're not a bunch of tough guys. You know what I mean? We're a bunch of nerds that get up there and just do what we do.
All good.
Actually, I can to cut you off real quick, Cookie. I can vouch for that because we were joking earlier. He busted out the hockey gloves, and I was like, we're joking about dropping the gloves and saying you want to go, and he was like, I think my wife will fight you before I will.
Yeah. My wife is the fighter. I'm more of the hey, let's think about this. Let's chill for a second. So, but it's like it's just like tough guard. There's still like the national acts that come through. So recently we had In This Moment, Dayseeker come through. I think we also right after that we had Scott Sapp from Creep come and play with Poppy and some other bands.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I didn't go to that show. I went to the In This Moment because my wife is a really big fan of them, so we went to that. But yeah,
I got to meet Maria. So we talked about Maria and like how like her stage presence has changed a lot over the years. But there was a photographer who was doing like upskirt photos of her, and he got in trouble. So that's why she doesn't do a lot anymore, and why actually I don't think photographers are allowed in a photo pit up front anymore with In This Moment. But she's from the Albany, New York area originally. And when I was living up there for a little bit, I met her one day. She was just at a bar, like not wasted her. And she was just there. And I think she's probably with some people. And like I just saw her. I was like, holy crap. Like that's Maria Brink. I just introduced myself. She's very polite. Very, very nice. And it's a shame because they used to put on, she used to be crazy on stage.
yeah, I seen them during a Warp set where she was dressed in like Alice in Wonderland stuff. That's kind of when I first heard them. And then now watching, the only thing I didn't care about for the set is it took like an hour for them to set everything up. But I understand the reason why.
Yeah.
Because it's super theatrical, it's cinematic. Her costume changes are crazy. Like I get it. I get why they do what they do. So.
And Dayseeker is phenomenal live.
Yeah, Dayseeker. We've actually played with Dayseeker. It's crazy that a lot of the bands that come through here that were smaller bands at first, we've played with all of them. So it's
awesome.
like it's just now that things are starting to hit us. Like I was telling my wife, I was like, it's just a matter of time before because we've been putting in our work for a long time. So
how do you get? John probably knows the answer to this, but I definitely don't. You mentioned these national acts coming through. How do you get on those bills with them?
Local band? So there are a couple of different promotion companies that book these tours. So they'll reach out to them, and then the booking agent will hit us up, and they're like, "Hey, these are the different shows that are coming through here. This is the time of year that it's happening." And then luckily for us, because we were fortunate enough where we could pick what we wanted to do. Some of the other local bands will just get thrown on things. We were like, we want on this, and they're like, okay, here's 100 tickets, sell the 100 tickets. So what we would do is just we would scoop up all 100 tickets. We didn't care if we had to pay out of pocket for them. We'd buy them and then we'd flip them. So we'd make our money back, but people knew that they could depend on us to get those ticket sales taken care of straight out the gate. So it became a, hey, do you want this? And we're like, yeah. And then we jump on it, and then we jump on them. And, you know what I mean?
That's a good deal for those fans too, because like if they're big acts coming through, getting tickets can be hard. And
yeah,
like there's a lot of like here, I live in the DC area now, and Cookie's out there in Springfield, Missouri. And in the DC area, like A Day to Remember was here this summer. There's a place called Jiffy Lube Live where they won't really sell out there, but you're going to get stuck with lawn seats. Or some of the smaller venues here, and I say smaller, I'm still talking 3,000 to 4,000 people. They'll sell out in no time, and then you're just kind of stuck. So it's kind of cool when you really follow the band to get those tickets. Cookie said I might know when you were asking about bills. Long ago, I did the band thing. We were just kind of like a regular hard rock group and stuff like that, which like my favorite music always has been metal, but I am nowhere near talented enough to play metal. And people don't realize how hard that genre is as a musician. But it was a lot of the same stuff. Like we'd jump out with some bigger bands at like Hard Rock Live and House of Blues in Orlando. We did like always did the Ernie Ball competitions.
For Warped,
Yeah, for Warped. We knew we weren't going to make it. We didn't care. We get up and play some packed houses throughout Orlando and stuff. But it was the same kind of things. Like you got these tickets to give away or to sell. And that's how Hard Rock Live did it. Hard Rock Live's like, here's 200 tickets. If all these, and we made $1 per ticket that came back in the door. So it's like, not only it's Hard Rock Live, it's a huge venue. It was a cool deal, but you still had to battle your friends being lazy and actually not making it to your show when they're really good friends of yours. Kind of like getting your friends to watch your podcast, right, Cookie?
So what we would do initially, and it's kind of, it was what we learned early on doing the ticket sales, is we would do a 2-for-1 sale. So we'd be like, okay, you guys want to do this? And then once it became closer to the day of the thing, we'd be like, okay, we're gonna jack the prices up, make the money that we initially put up front and paid for the tickets, we're gonna get back anyways. So yeah, if you didn't buy them pre-sale or ahead of time, then you guys would have to pay more. But it pretty much you were paying the same price as everyone else.
And I apologize if I missed this. We keep talking about what you've done in the past. How long has the band been together now?
So UTA started the beginning of 2013. But there was that gap. So when we first started, we wrote and did all that set within like a 2-week span. And then we kind of really early realized that we rushed everything. It felt super rushed. A lot of the material that we had written was just super sloppy. It was just so we could start playing shows. And then we took small breaks in between everything that we were doing because we wanted to reevaluate what we were doing. And then touring before, I learned the business part of what to do and what not to do. So we would reevaluate. I would either do a rebranding or a redoing of everything for the band. And then coming from like a design, I used to do design work and logo design, branding, all that kinds of stuff when I was in school. So I did everything in house for us. So like everything that you see like on social media, all of that is done by myself. But yeah, we would do these changes and these shifts. And then once we released Malevolent Eyes, the bigger EP, and then we hit that roadblock, it was so difficult because there for like that 5-6 year span, there was nothing. Like we were bouncing ideas off of each other. We didn't live in the same state. We were still kind of staying active as much as we possibly could to keep people interested in what we were doing and hinting at things. But like at that point, it was we were on hiatus. So
when did it pick back up? Because I'm just discovering you guys now, gratefully, and I think it sounds like things are picking up quite a lot.
Plus, you had the COVID gap in there that didn't help either, I'm sure.
Jesus,
it sucked. That whole thing just took its toll on all of us. Not being able to not only travel to each other, but like sending demos and stuff. It's really hard to do it because we don't. At that point, our producer and the guy that mixes and masters everything for us, he moved to New York. So he lived where I live, and then he moved to New York because he started playing in a band called the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So
okay.
He plays piano for the Trans-Siberian Orchestra now.
So the main guy the main guy from Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Paul O'Neill, I think his name is, if I remember correctly. He actually was neighbors with one of the guys in my old band in Lakeland, Florida. So they actually did the rehearsals at this event center in this small city of Lakeland, Florida. And we got to go and see these rehearsals for like their whole laser show and everything. And so that's kind of a weird
Coincidence.
a real weird coincidence.
Yeah.
Our episodes, me and Cookie say at least once or twice a show about how the world is so much smaller than people realize.
It's nuts. And it like, so Mark, he does, I think he does the West Coast tour, because there's two different Trans-Siberian Orchestras. So he does the West Coast, or no, he does the East Coast, excuse me. He does the East Coast because he's from New York. He randomly hit me up. So the two new singles that we released, we were like, we want to record, we want to record, we want to record. We kept trying to hit up random studios, and they were wanting to charge us, over $2,000 to mix and master stuff. And we were just like, doesn't really make sense to do singles like that. And then Mark just randomly called me one day and was like, yo, I'm going to be in town for like a week. Do you want to come track stuff and I won't charge you guys? And I'm like, hell yeah, let's go.
You had me at not charging me.
Yeah.
So I went out there and I tracked the vocals for Deadweight and Flowers, and then Mark was like, whatever other demos you guys have on the off dates when I'm with Trans-Siberian Orchestra, if you guys send them over, I'll work on them, and then we can go from there.
I mean, it says it has to say a lot about you guys as a band, like not even just your music, but the fact that he knows you guys are serious. If he's going to take time out, especially when it comes to that touring season for them, is grueling. When they come through and Cookie, I don't know if you've ever been to one of their shows or seen them. Their production is insane.
Yeah, I've seen it online. I've never been to one, but I've seen it online for sure.
So I was asking Mark about like their day to day, because I was like, okay, we wanted Sarah and I. So I'm a stepdad of 3 kids, so I wanted to go out to Oklahoma, which is where the kids are, and I wanted to take them to see Trans-Siberian. And I was like, Mark, what is the chance that we can meet with you so they can like, because the kids have never been to a concert before. And I'm like, this is your first concert and you're going to be able to like meet some of them. Like, I want to be able to do this. And he's like, dude, there is a bubble. He's like, dates of shows, there's a bubble. We cannot leave. We cannot do anything. He's like, food's provided, everything's brought in. He's like, there was no contact with no one other than the off days. So.
Is that to like reduce their risk of getting sick and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's it's like they're living COVID every day.
It does bring up a random question I have for both of you, actually. First concert ever. I'll give you mine. Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond?
That's kind of
and the second one was Pink Floyd.
Oh, okay. Are we talking like bigger acts, or because I went to a lot of local shows?
Probably bigger, like that we would know.
I went to go see. There was a record label that was back when I was in high school called Drive Thru Records. They had bands like Finch.
Newfound Glory was on there, and all them. Yeah,
Newfound Glory was on there. They had a whole like Drive Thru Records tour. So it was the early November. Census Fail.
Oh, I love that.
The Starting Line, like all those bands were on there. So that was like the first big one that I went to.
Such a boring human. The only
well, Cookie,
Glory, the only one I understood there. I'm such a boring human.
I saw them this summer with Offspring and Jimmy Eat World, and they I'm not even an Offspring fan, but the whole show, they were all pretty incredible. But you guys both beat me out. It was my first show. I feel like is Jefferson Airplane.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's everything wrong with that. It was at the New York State Fair.
Oh, now you're making me feel old. Thank you.
They're the band that's known to have the worst song in history.
That's true.
We Built This City on Rock and Roll is ranked the worst song in history. And that was my first concert. And right there, I should have known my mom didn't like me very much because that's what she took me to. But the only cool thing is my first concert I ever photographed was Chevelle. It was Chevelle and Dinosaur Pile Up, so that was a good one. But as far as I was a little kid at the New York State Fair in Syracuse, and good God, like even then I was like, I don't remember, I was like 4 or 5, and I'm like, this sucks.
I just remember
Absolutely horrible.
I just
Yeah.
remember Pink Floyd at the old Reunion Arena in Dallas, and they had like an intermission because it was a super long show. Intermission hit, they turned the lights back up in the arena, and you couldn't see to the other side of the arena because of all the smoke from people smoking pot.
I'm not
I was
surprised.
just a kid. I go, "What's this smell? I don't know what this is." I had no
Cookie was
idea.
hotboxed at 6 years old.
No, I had no clue what was happening, man. No.
We had a lighting guy for our band. Like he would just hit the road with us, and he also knew cars really well, which is great because our van was a piece of crap. He was an unbelievable lighting guy, and he actually ended up going on tour at Pink Floyd for a long time to do their lighting. He was telling me that he told me a story about how he's talking to their sound guy, and the sound guy would take LSD before sound check. And he goes, "Why are you doing that before sound check?" He goes, "I need to see the music coming out of the speakers." And I'm just like, I was like, "Oh my God, this world is not meant for me."
Oh,
But
man.
so now, I mean, you had your breaks, you had COVID, and like I was asking earlier, I mean, now it seems like you guys got some good traction. Congratulations on getting on the UK radio over there. I mean, all the exposure, especially getting over there, is huge.
Yeah, I don't even know how that actually happened. I don't even know how they managed to get us at the local station. Like, you know, TikTok and that social media stuff is just like I said, it boomed. I don't know why, but I completely just veered into it. I was like, let's do it. And luckily enough, we met some amazing people like Carissa, for instance, Britt. I actually met my wife because of UTA. Around that time that we started to boom on TikTok. She's not originally from here. She's from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
So she found our stuff, and I slid into her DMs and was like, "Yo." And she ghosted me for a day. That's what I like to say. And then
Damn.
we like I the reason why I veered so hard into TikTok was because they had given me a certain time frame as to like how long I was going to survive with my liver stuff, and I was like, I'm going to live every day like it's my fucking last. Like,
Nice.
you know what I mean? And so I told her, I said, this is what's happening. This is what I want to do. You're either on board or you're not on board. And we cut her all that BS, that the typical courting stuff. I cut all of that. I was like, this is what I need. This is what I want. If you're on board, let's do it. And she was like, okay. And so I flew her out here for a week, in 2023, of October. And then in November, I flew out to her for a week. And then I told her, I said, I want you to come out here for Christmas. My family does Christmas huge. You want to come out here? And she was like, yeah. And I said, if you come out here, you're not going back to Little Rock. And she said, okay. And so she's been here ever since.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm such a sucker for the romance stuff.
That's so
Like,
good.
and me and Cookie always talk all the time. Like, we love to see people get big wins.
Yeah.
So,
That's
and
a
then
win.
one thing I can attest to is, like, I've only been on their lives a couple times, is that group of girls are so supportive. So I followed your band from one of their lives previously, and so I saw you were on. I hopped in there, and at that point, Dom had messaged me. She was like, "Hey, he's live right now. They're about to go on UK radio." Like, everyone's messaging me to get in there, and like, I've only just linked up with these people. It's been under a week, and they're just like getting everybody to come in. So support like that from a group is massive. And they're all those girls haven't even met each other yet, have they?
No, so that's what's crazy is, so I had initially met Shauna and Britt. I met Sarah first, and then I met Britt and Shauna through Until the Avalanche. So when I was doing like a lot of the marketing, what I was doing is finding bands that were similar to us and being like, hey, come give us a listen, come give us a listen. So they had actually posted clips using our music.
Nice.
And so they would pop into our lives randomly, and they became people that were continuously supporting us. And then I don't know how I found Carissa's page, to be honest with you. She was reviewing bands, and then we just completely we hit it off. People were in there chit-chatting, and then the girls took it and just completely just blew it out of the water.
I see Carissa does like interviews with people on there. I know she said she's about to start her own podcast, which I think it's going to be great. A music podcast, doing that kind of stuff. Like she's already like doing it basically just through the TikTok live. So
yeah, it's crazy. And Sarah, so Sarah and the girls, they've never met each other, but they're planning on going to Louisiana to meet and have like their own little girls trip. And then in May of next year, we're going to try to go, we are going to Columbus, Ohio for a festival. It's Sonic Temple Fest.
yeah,
So we're all like, all the husbands and stuff are all going to go up there with the girls, and we're looking at Airbnbs and going to do all that. So
you're,
it's really,
it's kind of a two-parter. I think they're somewhat interchangeable in a way, but, or connected, I should say. Your style of music and your vocals, it's like, how do you maintain that? I mean, it's for a normal human being, that'd be hard on anybody's vocal cords and their voice and all that. You know, how much did you have to learn over the years to be able to take care of your body and take care of yourself? And the second part of that is how much, if at all, did your liver disease affect performance and all that, especially moving forward?
So I taught myself how to scream right out of high school. So I'm 37. So I've been doing it for like 20 years.
Damn, dude, I thought you were under 30 years old.
No.
I feel slightly better at 49 having this conversation.
So I taught myself early on kind of how to do it. I was doing it really wrong. So typically when you hear somebody yelling or screaming, there's different kinds of techniques that you can do. You use your diaphragm and you use your vocal cords in a way to pinch the tonality of what you want. So instead of yelling like like you normally are yelling, where it would cause what are called nodes or calluses on your vocal cords, you use it more as like the reference I use is like if you were to get a balloon and blow it up and you pinch it opposed to letting it go. That's what you're doing. You're using your diaphragm in your lungs to control the pitch and then articulating it with your mouth as much as you possibly can.
I need that technique as a coach.
It doesn't necessarily put a lot of strain on your voice if you're doing it right. If you're doing it wrong, which is where a lot of younger kids they'll ask me, how do you do this? And I'm like, you need to learn how to be able to control your breath. And breathing techniques is like a huge thing for me. So every day I actually do that. Like it's weird. My wife, when I first told her, she's like, this is kind of weird, but like before I get in the shower, I do breathing techniques. So I kick the hot water on as much as I possibly can, get that steam going, and then I start doing breathing techniques. And so I'll start like at very low range, and then I'll start building myself up and then going back down, just so you can feel what it's like for your lungs to have that full capacity of like, you know what I mean, holding your breath.
So even when you're not, you know, in recording time or show coming up, you have to maintain. It's like an athlete, basically. You have to maintain so you don't lose that, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and then going to your second question, the liver disease. So when I first got diagnosed, I had also 3 tears in my esophagus. So they actually had to go through and suture them. So my vocals changed slightly. So a lot of the tones that I could hit before, I can't hit now, but I compensate in different ways. So if you were to listen to the old stuff compared to the new stuff, you can tell. It just, a lot of like the lower notes that I was hitting before, I can't do because it causes me to have like a buildup of like, think of like GERD kind of, and it has like that bubbling sensation where it makes you feel like you're going to throw up.
Yep.
That's kind of what happens.
Oh.
So a lot of the lower notes I can't really hit anymore because of it.
I know. I remember. So Cookie, obviously coming from his bands like Grateful Dead and Fish and stuff like that. Which
exactly.
And you know, we both like a lot of different things. But I remember Cookie started telling me he finally started watching like the Charismatic Voice on YouTube.
Yes, she's brilliant.
Yeah.
She's amazing, and she was doing so much work with Will Ramos. And
that's the first thing I thought of when I was asking that question is like, man, to get her having this conversation with you would probably blow my mind even more than it already has.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a way to train your vocals, or people think, because the thing I love most about metal is like there's a couple metal bands I like that aren't very serious. I would say like Electric Callboy is a band, and I call them like party metal, and they're awesome. But a lot of metal, the words are really empowering, and people think metal is all death and Satan if they don't know what it is. And like, but a lot of like metal's like empowering, it's strong, it's tough. A lot of bands out there, like some of my favorite bands are like While She Sleeps and Architects, which are more in the metalcore side of things. Very much like against tyrannical governments and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of that kind of stuff. And when people get behind, first of all, when they first discover there's actually lyrics and it's not a dinosaur growling at them. And then once they start realizing what those lyrics are, people are like, oh damn, like this shit's deep. Mm-hmm. And people don't realize that a lot of metal and the lyrics have to do with life every day, a lot of mental health stuff, which I connect really heavily to. So taking care of your vocals, I mean, it's your vehicle. It's your vehicle for a voice right now. And it's like this day and age where I've been saying forever, like this is the year of metal ever since like the Olympics. And it was, I totally forgot the band name now off the top of my head. They're a huge band out of Europe.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Gojira.
Yeah, Gojira.
Gojira was in the opening ceremonies, and then having knocked loose on Jimmy Kimmel, which sent people through the roof. And then even like Poppy switching over to metal, which she was like a weird robot person, and then she was doing just pop music, and now she's on the metal side of things. It's like metal, I think, is taking off in a way it hasn't really done since like 80s hair metal, and now it's just becoming such a part of mainstream again. And that's probably something that helped with you guys starting to blow up a little bit more. But your guys' music is so tight and it's so clean. Like if I were to hear it, I would never guess that you guys are still an independent band. So
that a lot of people think that, and like people are like, how are you guys not picked up? And we're like, I don't know. Like it for us, like the one thing we all strive for is to connect. And you talked about bands like Architects and like the deeper meaning behind stuff, and that's always been like at the forefront of what we want to do. So when I got sick and with the new material with Deadweight and Flowers, a lot of our older stuff were directed at specific people, our songs. Typically it was bad relationships that I would write about. And once I got sick,
Taylor Swift of metal right there, man.
Okay, what? Once I got sick, and then I realized that I wanted to start being able to help people that were in the same position that I was in, or being able to connect with people on that level. I think that kind of what drew people into what we were doing. And now, like, you know, we have a music video out for Flowers, and at the end it deals with substance abuse and suicidal tendencies and mental health and all of that stuff. And so at the end of the music video, it actually has the hotline and how to get a hold of it. If you or anyone you know is struggling, you know, these are the resources. And I always like to let people know too when I'm live, like, if you ever need anything, me, my wife, anyone, don't hesitate. There's a reason why our DMs are open. We don't close it off. We follow every single person that follows us, because we know what it's like to be on the receiving end and wanting help, but not knowing necessarily the avenues to take for it. So
that's beautiful, man. That's amazing.
That's something we've talked about numerous times on here. I mean, Cookie knows for a long time. I was doing a lot of Mental Health Mondays for a lot of time on YouTube. I mean on TikTok. And that was kind of my base for TikTok. My TikTok really had minimal to do with my photography and stuff like that. And those kind of things are big deals. And so personally, like I've connected with the multiple sclerosis community. Been a forever never-ending project on doing a documentary about people living with multiple sclerosis. And we've met awesome people through that community, and it's a lot of the same thing. You know, they have this chronic illness. They're dealing with a lot of mental health stuff. And the way I've connected with one of our closer friends in the group, our friend Adam, is me and him actually first bonded on music. It was a lot of metal stuff and everything like that. You know, it's having that to lean on, and then realizing there's so much more behind it, where you're really using music as your therapy and getting the word out there. But like you said, you never know how much it's connecting with somebody else on the other end, and why it's so important. And that's awesome that you guys are conscious of that in a world where right now where it's, you know, we said this before you got on, it's a world of forced apathy. It's just, you know, you can watch somebody get killed on TV and people feel nothing. It's a wild place we're in right now as a society.
It is, and I think it's just like everyone is so desensitized to it, and it just becomes such a regular thing that people don't understand that like it affects a lot of people. You know what I mean? And you know, I'll be the first like to say like I joke around. I have dark humor, so I joke around about stupid stuff like that all the time. You know what I mean? Like I'll tell my wife like, when I die, just throw me in the trash, like, or I'll say something stupid like,
God,
you know,
we need to get Adam on here.
So like we crack a lot of jokes, but I think for Fernando and myself, because Fernando deals with it and he does a lot of the counseling for minorities and stuff like that in Arizona. So like Krista and actually the girls are gonna have him on there talking about mental health. He was on there last night. I don't know if you tuned in, but
I don't remember. I had a game last night, so I missed a lot of it. So
he's gonna hop on and talk about like different things to do too when it comes to like mental health. But it's always been a thing, especially for us, and it's just, I think people need it more than ever now. You know what I mean? And just being able to connect on that deeper level, and music always is just something that like resonates with a lot of people. And actually, I had this conversation last week with somebody because they don't understand music. So he was a coworker, and I was telling him about our stuff, and he's like, I don't like that kind of music. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And I'm like, it's not for everyone, you know? And he asked me, he goes, what's end game for you? And I said, to reach as many people as we possibly can, and to help everyone that we possibly can. And he's like, but you don't want like a 9-to-5, like you don't want a salary? And I said, I would trade that all in to be able to know that you made a difference in somebody's life. And I was like, knowing that you affected and you caused someone to not either end their life or think about those things or to be the escape, it's what's most impactful to us. That in gold means way more than anything else.
That's so important you said that. John and I talk about it on this podcast all the time, and we'll joke around, you know, with what we've done in the 31 episodes now, but we've also said many times, especially when we're talking about, you know, last week I interviewed a very dear friend. It's actually my ex's sister, who's a breast cancer survivor. John's mentioned the MS patients. We've had a good friend of mine and then another guy that came out of the blue that are both recovering alcoholics, many years of sobriety. And just as we said every time, we would love to reach everybody, but even if we reach that one person that needs to hear it, that's all the you know, all we need. That's all we need, even if it's just that one person.
Well, like kind of where it happened for me is back when I had my old band, was back like MySpace was like a huge thing.
Hell yeah.
Oh, bring it back. Where's Tom?
Where's Tom? Where is that guy? No,
he's a photographer. Tom is a photographer now, and he has an Instagram called Tom from MySpace, and all he does is travel the world and do photography. Yeah. And his work is phenomenal. So when you guys go on tour, bring me and not Tom. Don't diss me for Tom.
The one guy that I will say that came back that I think is one of those people that's very genuine is Steve from Blue's Clues.
Yes.
I couldn't believe when I saw that.
Yeah.
My wife was just like in tears, just bawling, and was just like, well, she had never seen the episode. I don't know if you guys ever watched the show, but where he goes to college is like the last episode with him. She thought that he just straight dipped and was like, I'm out, peace. And I'm like, no, he went to school. She's like, left us. She was like so devastated. And I was like, no, he went to school. Like that was the whole thing. That was his character arc. But yeah, going back to what I was saying. So when I was in my first band, we were like a Christian metal band that was back when like The Devil Wears Prada and all these bands. So we were kind of following in their steps, Under Oath. And I had a person from Australia reach out to us, and she was like,
John, sorry, I'm interrupting, I know, but John, stop, because I know that look.
What?
We're huge in Australia.
We're huge.
because
Yeah, we're big in Australia.
we
Are
reacted
you?
to
Oh,
some
yeah.
we reacted to some rugby videos, and like our regular viewers are mostly from Australia. So
For like the first 15 to 20 episodes, our demographic when we went into the back end of YouTube was about what 80% Australian.
Hell yeah.
if anything, right now, man, I hope it catches on, and next thing you know, you guys
Yeah.
will be on
Sorry,
Australian
I didn't mean to
radio.
interrupt, but that's one of those. It's another one of those kind of moments. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
The coincidental moments, but she reached out to us. Her grandmother had passed away from like a really terminal illness, and she had posted a thing on Tumblr, and it was a picture of my old band, and it said, "Now that they're gone, like what do I do? Like now that they stopped making music, what do I do?" And I told my parents this, and I said, the fact that we helped her through that, you know what I mean, is what made me continue to want to keep doing what I'm doing. Is just like that person resonated with our stuff. And you know, you mentioned Australia, and when we first got together and when we first released Malevolent Eyes, we had a band from Australia called Amicia reach out to us. They were like our sister band from Australia. They wanted to fly us out there to go and like tour with them.
Sick.
And it just, the stars never really aligned, and trying to get out there was just a very, very difficult thing to happen. I would still like to go out there. I know that a lot of people are like, everything is trying to kill you out there. And I'm like, everything's trying to kill you here.
Yes, thank you. And we have one viewer for sure that's going to comment on that.
Yeah.
So
We
yes,
say that all the
I'm saying
time.
Your name yet again. No,
What-
I will say it's funny. So you mentioned your coworker. I'm one of those that your style of music isn't my cup of tea. But what I would say to that is there are a lot, as you've said, there's a lot of people that is their style of music that need to hear those messages. There's people that listen to the stuff I listen to that need to hear those messages. And that's the beauty, as you said, of music, of art in general, that there are so many outlets to be able to send that message out to people, to help people. And as you said, help as many as you can, even if it's just that one could be the most important one. And for that person, it is the most important one. So I'm so in awe of what you're doing and the message you're sending, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, it took us a while to get to where we're at. Like I said, mental health and all that stuff has always just been like on the forefront. But getting to the place where we're at now, where we're speaking out a lot more about it, is just like the big thing. And then we're actually doing a music video for the first single released, Deadweight, and it talks about generational cycle breaking. So the music video for it is going to be, you know, learning from the previous mistakes and things like that, and breaking and being the difference and being the change and being, you know, better than something that you're supposed to technically fall in line with. So
That's amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, at this day and age too, you know, it's a question. Like I know some musicians and stuff, but you're a little bit more of a position to likely really be to answer this with the digital age and the internet now. Like you've lived a lot longer than I thought you have, as I thought you were younger. But
not for a lack of trying.
but I mean, you remember being a kid and there's like cassettes and CDs, and you had to like wait for the release, and you know, being on the other side of things. Like even when my band was kind of doing its thing at the time, like we had to print CDs. So, and if we were going to jump on with a distribution, even if we're going to record ourselves and jump on with a distribution label, we had to consider packaging costs and distribution costs and all this other kind of stuff. But while there's still tangible things as far as music goes, it's really all right here on Spotify and Amazon Music and all these other things and Apple Music and stuff like that. So, I mean, how important is the music industry and record labels and stuff like that to you guys as far as all that goes? I mean, is this something where you guys are like, you know, I could be independent? Or is it something where you still feel the need for, I mean, other than the financial aspect of things, obviously, but I mean,
Yeah.
is it something where you really feel the need for them?
At the place where we're at now, it's something that we want and we want to push towards, just because, you know, now that I have 3 kids to take care of, and I want to make sure that, you know, they're taken care of. that is the part of like the business part of it where I'm like, we need that backing, you know. Being independent is fun because you don't have to deal with timelines and, you know, time constraints and stuff, but at the same time it's kind of back and forth because you want management, you want labels to look at you so they can throw you on tours, because the only way to do that is to go through those avenues. You know, it's who you know at that point or how you're able to put your foot in the door that opens all of those avenues for you. So I think that is kind of what differs between us and a lot of the other bands from where we're from. Is a lot of the bands from where we're at, they don't care for us because they think that we're stuck up or we're just these people who are garbage. But in reality, the thing is, we rather stay in our lane and make sure that things are taken in the right way. And for us, it's always been, like I said, like the mental health and everything's been on the forefront and reaching out and meeting as many people as we can. So it became, do we want to stay here or do we want to expand it? And us, we've always been a bigger picture band. So like getting signed is the only way that that's gonna really happen, because then you have major record labels or subdivisions of major record labels who are wanting to sign you, and so wanting to throw you on festivals, because we've tried to submit ourselves for so many festivals and they're like, if you don't know somebody, you're not going to get on it. So
a lot of those festivals are tough because there's so many bands on it. Like even the Summer Loud festival I shot this summer, there were so many acts on there that I didn't realize. And I was there for, you know, it was the three main headliners were Parkway Drive, Beartooth, and Avenged Sevenfold. Or Killswitch Engage, I mean. It was, but there was like 6 other bands on the bill. You know, shooting it in the middle of summer was, I'm complaining, and it's an outdoor venue. I'm complaining about shooting it, but I mean, I can't imagine, like, I Prevail, all the main headliners had all this pyro going on that you could feel from 100 feet back. And while my photos came out looking great, it still is just like, holy crap, man. Like, these guys are up there performing with this kind of stuff. And you're talking about what you have to do for your voice. Like, that dries you out. Like, that pyro right there, I mean, it'll dry your vocals out. It can really jack you up. But
I'm more concerned with so for me, because when we play sets, we are all over the place. We don't just stand in one spot. So I've been hit with a couple of guitars. I got actually hit in the face pretty bad with a guitar, to the point where like my face was bleeding out on stage.
Metal.
It's metal, but it happened during the last song, and it happened, and like I kind of like I didn't realize, like I felt something hit me, and I didn't realize what it was, and then I turn and I look, and then I just feel my face just drenched.
Oh no!
And the band, the headlining band, I don't know if you've ever heard the band Ice Nine Kills.
Yeah.
We were playing with them, and they look. One of the guys looks over at me and goes, "Dude, are you okay?" And I'm like, "No." I was like, "I'm pretty sure I'm concussed. But
that's pretty. Please tell me there's photos of that you can send me.
I have I'll send you one of the photos. It took place after, so my face is still kind of covered with it. It was when we first got together as a band, but I'm more worried about bumping into them. And after that incident, I always, like, if my guys are coming close to me, I'm like, either like make sure that I know that you're there, or like I'll put my hand out and I'm like, no, I don't want to get hit with a guitar again. It's not fun.
You know what's funny is you put a lot into perspective, because I've seen so many singers that are just singers and vocalists where they'll do that. And I always thought it was part of the performance, but now I'm second guessing. Maybe they've been cracked with a guitar in their history too, because you'll see them you'll see them do that sometimes. But I mean, with your genre, now here's a question for you guys. Metal has 80 billion genres all of a sudden. But like
hundreds of everything.
It's crazy because like the message of a lot of metal is pretty much the same of a lot of it, and you know the core of it is kind of all the same. So like where do you think you guys fall in? I mean, I know the major ones right now like deathcore, metalcore, and stuff like that. It really depends if you have singing hooks and clean stuff or not. I mean, where do you guys fall into this bucket?
So we kind of have our own. I don't want to say that. I want to say that we titled it our own. So like we pull from a lot of different aspects, whether it be like melodic stuff or deathcore, metalcore. Metalcore is always going to be like the root of what we've done and what we do. But I think we don't have the clean vocals like bands like Architects or Beartooth or Motionless in White, where they have the clean vocals. All of our stuff is just straight yelling and screaming. So and then we have a lot of like the lower vocals that I used to do. I still can do them, but I have to do it accordingly. But if you look at our bios on everything, I don't put deathcore or metalcore. I put Texas death heavy metalcore. So
you got
like
it all in there.
Yeah, so like we're heavy. We're heavier than normal metalcore, so it's like the heavy metalcore, but it's still like it's got deathcore aspects to it. And if you listen to some of the new stuff, Mark, the piano player, our producer guy, there's certain parts where he adds stuff into it to make it more in depth. So there's like he added violins to it, he's added piano parts to it, he adds like all kinds of stuff to it. And it's just because he's classically trained, so he's like, oh, I'm just gonna throw this in here real quick, and then he'll send it to us, and we're like, that's not how we wrote it, but okay, we'll leave it.
I mean, he's got a big enough name right now where it's kind of hard not to listen to him, right?
Yeah.
That's actually pretty funny. And you did a very Texas thing, by the way. And Cookie will know what I mean here. You did a very Texas thing because I lived in Dallas. How I met Cookies, we were coaching hockey there for the Brahmas. And when I lived down there, I've never been a country guy. It's never been my style of music. And then I started listening to some country bands that Cliff was showing me. And then I learned a very, very hard lesson. There's country.
Let me clarify. I wasn't playing you country bands. I was playing you Texas Red River bands. Better, the real shit.
Well, that's exactly where I was going. Cookie goes,
not the shit on the radio.
Like, there's country, and then there's Texas country. And that's exactly what the whole Red River country and Red River Texas music. And it's like, listen, the rest of the world can do their thing, but Cliff's showing me
good red dirt Texas country, not the crap you hear on the radio.
I mean, correct me wherever I'm wrong here, Cliff. It was
gladly
a very weird thing because it's like country music, but it definitely had like this hard-driven Southern rock style to it. It was just a mixture of a bunch of stuff, and it was actually really cool. And then Cliff joked about this a couple episodes ago, where one day I posted like, "Holy crap, I'm listening to country music right now."
Proud of you, man. I don't listen to much of that anymore, but I did back then. Yeah, I was proud of you.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the earlier bands, because you're a little bit older, so you may remember bands like Maylene and the Sons, The Disaster, Every Time I Die. Like those are southern metal bands. They had like a little bit more of that twang to what they were doing than anything else.
It's deep rooted in I think it's in their blood, man. It's not even a style thing. It's just something that they kind of have to do with Texas, man. The other thing I always loved about when I lived in Texas, people would be like, Texas is the greatest country in the world. And I'm just like, holy crap. So
just kill me.
I learned really quick to not run my mouth down in that state, man. Let me tell you. And that's a tough thing.
Yeah, Texas doesn't mess around with stuff like that. So where we're at is about 45 minutes west of Texas, is where I'm at.
Okay.
But we're from like that's where they started, and I was the only member that was outside of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what's next for you guys? I mean, you guys have the songs hitting the radio. I know it's hard for logistically to get everybody on the road and stuff like that. So what's in the near future, and like what are you looking at down the road? Like obviously music you want music to be the career. That's what you want to do to be able to support your family. But you know, what's the short-term and long-term plan for you guys?
Short-term is just to start getting it bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where I actually just submitted us to be part of like that free agency.
I heard you talking about that in your live earlier, yeah.
These guys can look at our stuff and decide, you know, management-wise. And the only reason why I kind of went that avenue at this point is we had somebody send us a message and they were like, hey, they offered us a tour in February, and it's an East Coast tour, and they're like, it starts in Florida and it goes all the way up the East Coast. It's going to be like 2 weeks. You guys will be supporting people, blah, blah, blah. And the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I was like, okay, yes, I would love to jump at the idea. Financially, do I think that it's a good idea? It's going to be a pain in the ass to get from this side of Texas all the way across to Florida to start the tour.
From that side of Texas to anywhere.
Yeah, to anywhere, even in Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
So just trying to get to the point where we are selling, like, we have our merch up. We've got all kinds of other things that we're working on, like, you know, we've got the merch that we have now, and then we have a winter/fall line that we're releasing, which is going to be a lot more hoodies, beanies, things like that. And then just starting to create that revenue and that. We're fortunate enough where, like, Carissa actually let us know that she has like an RV that her and Ricky may potentially let us borrow. So I think short term, Texas run for sure. Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio.
I mean, there's so many
Corpus.
places in Texas where you could do
Yeah.
Texas mini tour.
Yeah, that's kind of where we want to start, and then start to branch off from there. I've submitted us for a couple of different other festivals that have open submissions. So I did Upheaval Fest, which is in Michigan, and like things like that, where like those are bigger festivals. The financial part of it isn't like even really a worry because we have so much time to plan ahead, opposed to, you know, we got offered this tour in February, and I'm like, in 6 months, can we find a steady drummer? And in 6 months, can we find the funding to get us, if we can't get the RV, to rent a vehicle, to rent the U-Haul, to make sure that we're taken care of, not only for that, but for the, you know, we're going to be out of work for, you know what I mean, 2-3 weeks, you know, and being able to pay the bills, being able to support ourselves. And then I started thinking, you know, Brennan, he's one of our younger guys in the band. He's like, oh, you know, hotel stay. And I'm like, there's no hotel stay, dude. It's sleeping in the van.
Vans and floors, man.
Vans and floors. And that's not to say that, you know, at some point we can be offered somewhere, and you know what I mean? But like, you have to think about it financially is where it's at. So just trying to hit the bases with it, and trying to make sure that once we take those steps to touring like so frequent, that it covers and it just takes care of that capital on top of it, is like, that's what we want to do. End game for us is just to start playing as many shows, big shows, just being able to play with a lot of bands that influenced us, and to get up there and do that, you know what I mean, is what we want to do.
Well, I tell you what, man, I mean, we're happy to continue to spread word. You already got great support. Like I said, those 4 girls that we brought up numerous times already. I mean, it's one of the most genuine groups of support that you can really find online right now. And they're not even just doing it to be nice, like they're excited about it, which is, you know, exactly the right kind of people to have in your corner. If you end up on that show in Michigan, the guy Adam we've talked about a couple of times, that's where he's from. Yeah. One of my friends that play video games lives in Michigan. So like we have, you know, we can definitely help with the word. And, you know, again, it's not just because it's a music I enjoy. I mean, the mission you guys have at hand, the message you guys want to put out there, it's genuine, it's authentic, and it's needed.
Yeah,
this day and age, it's one of the things.
Yeah, that's what I was going to add is, you know, this is John's wheelhouse, not so much mine, but at the same time, you're an inspiring dude, man, for a lot of reasons. So keep fighting the fight and keep doing your thing. It's amazing.
So I did have a question that's completely not music related. So you guys coach together. What position did you coach, or were you guys doing like assistant coaching?
By the way, I'm still coaching. By the way, John's not. I'm still coaching. I coach at a college here in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah, but I coach defensemen primarily.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, but when John and I were together, there's a whole other episode about that whole
Yeah.
situation in New Mexico.
But I mean, even as coaches, we both coached a bit of
A
everything.
little both, yeah, but primarily because our other buddy, Jeremy, who I've now coached with for this is our third team coaching together. So anytime he and I are together, I'm with the defenseman, he's with the forwards, which is ironic because when I played, I was a forward and he was a defenseman. So yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah, and
All right,
it is
so-
pretty funny. So
yeah.
Side note: 3 top defensive men, in you guys' opinions, right now in the NHL.
Cale Makar.
Makar, Hughes, and who's the third at this point?
I'll tell you what. I got 2 very underrated defensemen.
And Quinn
Devon
Hughes.
Taves.
I grew up with Quinn Hughes' mom, ironically. She's a little older than me, but yeah.
That's pretty funny. Devon Taves, which is Cale Makar's D partner, one of the most underrated D in the league, and a guy that plays for the Caps here, Martin Farivari. He's fast. He moves the puck really well. He's outstanding defenseman. And
There's a lot of
he's
really
slept
young
on.
guys that are fun to watch. That's for
I
sure.
tell you what,
What
watch
do you-
out for Matt Schaefer from the Islanders. The
Yeah.
kid.
What do you guys feel
Nice.
about? Okay, so me and my wife are having this conversation. What do you guys feel about the shift in the enforced defensive players that used to be defensive players to now like the more streamlined defensive players?
I'm all
Do you miss
for-
the grittiness of wanting to throw down?
That's what John and I were, but I
wasn't a skill guy.
no, I wasn't either. I was a banger. But I do like the modern. I mean, it's hard to not enjoy the modern skill. It's mind-boggling what these guys can do. Even my
Yeah, it's-
college guys. I mean, I watch them go. I couldn't do that. I mean, geez, even at my best, I couldn't do that.
And there's a lot of guys out there now that the fighting is less, the skill is through the roof, the fighting is less, but they still hit like a truck
Oh yeah.
out there. And like,
we have guys like Ryan Reeves out there throwing body checks left and right. So
I mean, yeah, Reeves has had to change his game a lot over the years. I called him a scumbag on your live earlier, but he's had to change his game just to survive in the NHL. You know, you brought up how Tom Wilson is always such a pest, and he's got a hell of a past, but he scored 30 goals last year, and he's like on that bubble right now to make the Canadian Olympic team. And so, like, guys that were just that have had a change. I mean, Matt Rempe.
He has no business in the NHL.
He's a guy who needs to change his game quick, or he's just going to find his way back down
He's
to
not one
Hartford.
that's capable of. Revo could, but I don't think Rempe is capable of changing his game. He's just a big donkey.
I'll tell you what, as much as I didn't like Ryan Reeves, I wish he was on every team I ever liked. he's one of those guys. So
Revo had guys
what
like that had the innate talent built in. Rempe doesn't even have that.
yeah,
what about this Carter Hart thing?
No, not happening.
we're not
No.
fans.
No.
No.
None of those guys should have. I was actually going to talk to John earlier if we wanted to really get into that in our sports show. I would need to do a little more research. I mean, we know a lot about it, but not enough to do a full show about it yet. But I'm not happy that he's getting.
Yeah.
They're getting so much pushback, and they're
But it's
I
never,
saw
it's another
speculation
reason
that they're
for
gonna-
all of us to hate Vegas. So I'm okay with that part of it.
Right? right. I saw that they were speculating that if Vegas does sign him, they're going to sign him to a 2-year deal for 1.8 mil. So
I mean,
I mean,
that
he's
fits in the
technically
money, and they
veteran status. It's probably pretty close to veteran minimum. I would think. I don't know that for sure, but
yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like for the information that has come out about it, like everyone will agree, acquitted doesn't mean innocent.
it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Yeah.
And so, it's one of those things. If there was like some kind of breakthrough, that's the news what it is. But what it is right now, it's just kind of hard to.
And his quote in the little locker room presser the other day, where he's glad to be able to put it all behind him. Yeah. Ask the young women if they were able to put it behind them.
Yeah.
yeah, I was watching an interview with somebody about Hart, and just he was like, this guy threw up this ridiculous statistic, and he's like 85% of essays are false, and I was just like, that is not how that works.
How
That
bad is
not
this
how that
guy
works.
trying to walk the plank with just putting that out there? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
it's one of those things where it's an inexcusable. It's not something that you could just be like, oh, okay, we'll move on. You know, people make mistakes, but that's a lot different than a mistake. That was a full on choice
Yeah.
for all of that.
And,
So
yeah. Well, there's a reason why the other two guys have yet to be signed to anything.
oh yeah, there's
that you don't
what
even hear
was
their name.
what 5 total guys, and he's the only one at this point that's even.
Well,
getting an
so you
opportunity.
have one in, I think one in Sweden, and one of them went to another national team, and then two of the guys aren't doing anything at all.
Yeah, and
So-
the way and someone I've definitely agreed with this, and John as a now former Boston Bruins fan, since he has to show his allegiance to another team now since he worked for
I
them.
mean, Caps pay the bills, man.
But I respect the hell out of how Boston handled the situation with that the kid they drafted that that had the issues with. I don't even remember his name, and frankly, I don't give a shit. But because he's a piece of shit, and I don't care who sees this. But the way they handled that, the way the players handled that, in comparison to a Mark Stone saying, "Man, he's a great goalie. We're excited to get him out here to us, man." Show some balls, man. Show some balls. You're the team leader. Say,
I don't know. Did you guys see what happened? Was it a few hours? Was it earlier this morning? I think it's with Marchand
oh yeah,
Yeah, we were just talking about
Here's-
that.
oh,
Actually.
ripping the helmet.
such a fucking rat.
Dude, let me tell you,
I
these
don't like
matinee
Martians.
games,
No,
these matinee games. Was that game yesterday? Or was that today? The matinee
today.
game.
I love the matinee. That was today. They're
The
best.
matinee games. Players are grumpy, man. Like we play at 12:30 tomorrow.
Yeah,
We play at 12:30 tomorrow.
Tom Wilson's tearing somebody up.
Oh my God! First of all, Tom Wilson had a kid recently. Tom Wilson's wife was on the Canadian women's volleyball team, Olympic team. Now you got Tom Wilson. I'm pretty sure that kid is already committed to whatever sport it wants to play, and it will do well. But yeah, you get these guys for these 12:30 games, man. They are grumpy because they're at the rink for a 12:30 game. They're going to be showing up at 10 o'clock.
I think the Four Nations games that's a really cool
That was
idea.
fun. That was fun.
That was awesome.
The 3 fights was stupid, but that was.
I kind of liked it, man. It helped. Those 3 fights helped the game of hockey more than anything in recent years.
Yeah.
Well, all the Kachuk brothers are out right now.
Oh, that's too bad.
Who's playing the Winter Classic this year?
I don't know. Are they
Who is
doing it?
in that?
Are they doing one because of the Olympics?
I think there still is one, but I don't know who.
I don't either. And I actually prefer the Heritage Classics up in Canada personally. But
Yeah,
remember during
they are
COVID
looking
when
to try and bring back
remember
the
during COVID when they did the one on the lake, like right by the lake.
in Tahoe.
That was sick. Yeah.
That would be awesome. They want to do one. People keep trying to tell them to do one on the National Mall here in DC. And let me tell you, setting wise, and my photos will be off the chain.
Man,
Logistically, absolutely not.
I just hope we actually have a.
They'll have to put you on a harness and
Yeah.
just staying away from the Washington Monument.
I just hope we have Olympic hockey this year because it's what 3.5, 4 months away, and the rink's not even built yet.
Are you serious?
Where's it at?
Have you not heard about that?
Milano, Italy.
Yeah, the
Milan,
rink's not
Italy.
even forget they were supposed to have the ice in already to do like test series and test games right now. The building is not even done, much less the ice.
Well,
I mean, I know
I guess we're going to see
the World
Italy
University,
Olympics in Austria.
the World University Games last year were in Italy. That's where ACHA sends a U.S. team, and yeah, they're gonna have to use those rinks that are smaller, but probably what they should do anyways. Frankly, they don't
For
need-
most,
for the Olympics. They don't.
Do you guys cover the professionals women's league? Because there's 8 teams, right?
yeah, and
It's
Vancouver
growing.
just got a team.
Yeah.
I actually just did a podcast. I think it comes out this next week with a girl who played in the PWHL, and I used to cover it when it was the NWHL, and they had the team in Connecticut and New York and stuff like that. They're unbelievable hockey players.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about it much yet because even our sports ones kind of end up falling more into the series side. Like we did, I mean, more self-promoting at this point, but a few weeks ago we did one about mental health and coaching because I had a situation arise in my coaching side of things a few weeks ago. But even with the sports ones, we kind of go a little more deeper into we don't cover like particular games or things like it's kind of like this. We talk about broader subjects. So I would love to talk to well, we're actually hopefully going to have her on to talk.
Yeah, Tatiana after.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to tell when me and Cookie started this, we were just gonna have fun and just kind of bullshit
It
on
went a
here.
different direction in a hurry.
And we've had people with some real stories, and even you talking about your band, like the mission of your band and what you want to put out there. It fell right in place
there.
with how these things go. And honestly, I love it because you're learning about a side of people that you're in a heavy metal band. You're in a what you call it, heavy Texas deathcore, heavy metalcore, hardcore, and people will hear the music and just be like, oh, it's just another metal group, not have any idea unless they pay attention to what you're putting out there and how important what you're putting out there is. And Cookie and I were just like, we're just gonna come on here and BS, and we've had some unbelievable guests, including yourself, with these just awesome stories and things that they're doing, man. And we
had a woman on who initially was going to come on to talk about her multiple sclerosis journey, and because of events that had happened prior days, talked about the fact that she was part of, that's a weird way to say it, but I don't know how else present for and lost her best friend in the first nationally covered school shooting in U.S. history that happened in Kentucky.
Yes, 2 years before Columbine.
Yeah, 2 years before Columbine. Paducah, Kentucky. She was her best friend. She had just left her best friend like 3 minutes prior to the shooting because she got detention for the first time since kindergarten, or she would have been standing right next to her best friend who was one of the victims who was killed.
So yeah, we
went from wanting to kind of joke around and have some fun and do crazy stuff with this to shit got serious pretty quick.
But you know what though?
In a good way. We love it. I mean,
it's something that needs to be discussed.
Absolutely. We wouldn't have it any other way. It's actually worked out better than we could have ever hoped. And getting to meet people like you and the message you're spreading is, as we talked about earlier, we're hopefully reaching people that need to hear these things.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
well, it was a lot of fun.
No, we appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, we appreciate coming on, especially kind of last minute. I asked him to join us today while he's in the middle of his live, waiting for his band to get put on the radio. So, again, man, congratulations on that. We will. Where can people find you guys right now?
On all streaming platforms. We're on all socials, so Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We do have a Twitter. We're not very active on there like we used to be. I feel like kind of Twitter fell off for us. But like everywhere, YouTube, we're going to be releasing we have new material that we're releasing. We haven't really put a date, or we have a date, but we haven't released the information regarding it. So
we'll include all your links in the description of this, and blast it out as much as we can.
So on my personal Twitter, I actually do have like quite a few people that do a lot of hockey related stuff.
Nice. And
I can just send it to them too. I have a guy that does and writes for Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah.
So I could send it over and see if you could repost it. Try to get some stuff out there.
Sharing more the merrier, because especially with people, if they don't know you, when people end up finding it and listening to the episode, hopefully it's something that connects with them. I mean, even though you're wearing these god awful jerseys right now, but I say that I'm actually a humongous Sidney Crosby fan. I love Sid the Kid, so I was a
Liu Kang fan. Just as
I got I got these two back here too, but they're signed. So we got this one from when they won 2016, and then
nice. I just noticed you got a Lost Boys poster back there. Hands down, the best vampire movie to ever be made.
Nice.
So funny story about this poster is actually one of the originals. So me and my wife, for our anniversary, we went to Oddities Expo, and this was actually one of the few that they had there, and we picked it up. I think it was like $60.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, that movie is great.
I just happened to notice that one. So, but what's funny is this whole time I see you're on there. Do you go by Frankus? Do you go by Frank?
Frankus is like what everybody knows me by. My real name is Frank. But Frankus was like given to me when I was fresh out of high school, and I just kind of ran with it. So
Frankus it is. Well, Frankus, thank you so much for joining us on here.
yeah.
Everybody go check out Until the Avalanche. Like he said, pretty much anywhere you can stream the music, including on YouTube. Look forward to the videos coming out. Look forward to hearing about the tours. If you're in my area and you don't approve me to shoot a concert, I will crash out unlike any other. But yeah, we look forward to hearing more, and obviously I'll keep jumping into your lives and stuff, man. It's great what you're doing, especially connecting with everybody.
Oh yeah, sounds like a plan. Well, it was a pleasure, guys.
We appreciate it.
All right, have a good day.
Take it easy.
That was cool.
Nice. Yeah,
was very cool.
it's right on par with, you know, we're talking to somebody about music. It's what they're doing, and there's just something more to
There's
it.
always something more. And that's the
what a
beauty.
good dude, not just because he likes hockey.
Yeah, and that's the beauty, not only of what we're doing, but just humanity in general. There's always a story. There's always more in that story. We hit that, you know, a few weeks ago unexpectedly, and we hit it again today when he, you know, started talking about his liver disease, and out of nowhere we thought we were talking music, and it just kind of went into, you know, his health. It went into mental health. It went to a lot of things.
Yep.
And as
there's more. There's more I wanted to learn about the liver disease. It's just I didn't want to kind of impose on that one because he didn't really touch on it much. But you know, it's a battle he fought, and now he's using his own lessons from all sorts of life, all aspects of life, and putting it into the music. I think it's phenomenal.
No, and I just, you know, as far as what you and I are doing, this is just another example of why I'm excited for what this podcast is bringing, because it's just every time we've done this, even when we thought it was going to be just kind of a real fun, standard, whatever interview, boom, something happens, and it just takes it to a whole other level.
I tell you what, it makes me absolutely appreciate people before I even know anything about them, because you don't know what they've been through. And so it's like I'll have an appreciation for a person because I'm immediately thinking it's like what wars have they fought without us knowing. And you know, the whole small world thing just cracks me up with especially with the you know, like I said, Paul O'Neill. I Wikipedia. Paul O'Neill, I guess, is no longer with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I mean, he was old when I met him 20 years ago, but it's just it's such a random thing. And you know, Paul was going to produce our band, but the band was leaving, and we just got to meet him. Like I said, he invited us. We're the only non-crew people there to see these rehearsals, and it was a pretty awesome thing.
Well, everybody's, you know, it's kind of it's not a cliche, but it's a somewhat famous quote, and I don't remember who it was. It sounds like something Andy Warhol would say, but everybody's got a story to tell, and it's just finding the platform for them to tell it, and hopefully we can continue to have that platform for people to come tell their story. And I'm enjoying the hell out of it, man.
Yeah, I mean, we're not these people with millions of viewers. We're not the New Heights, which, you know, we went the whole episode, didn't say their name, so I just wanted to make sure I squeezed that one in there.
We got Sinbad in though.
We did. He's gonna there's the commissions for him. But you know, it's one of those things where I totally lost train of thought there. But wow. We talked about Sinbad and my brain was washed. Is he already activated? Like, what's going on? Is this sleeper stuff?
He's in your grill.
Yeah, he is, man. We don't have the money to be paying out commissions yet.
No,
you know, it's like, you know, we don't have the mass followers and stuff like that. But you know, if 10 people can learn about this band and be like, these guys are awesome, and share it with their 10 people, and then 10 people on and on. I mean, that's kind of how these things grow. And it sounds like TikTok's already doing them favors and promoting them, which is awesome, because that's the point.
Yeah. And I should have said something to him. They need to get up to Oklahoma City, because I have I shouldn't say friend. I've never met her. I just, one of those people you meet on, I think I first met her through Twitter, actually, because she's a Oklahoma football fan, just like I am. And
Gross.
Shut up. But through following other Oklahoma football fans, I discovered this young lady, Kendra. She and her husband are big. Like, she's like the world's biggest Ice Nine Kills fan. That's the only reason I even know what that band is because she posts about Ice Nine Kills constantly, and goes to every possible show she can. especially in the Oklahoma City area.
And he bled opening for them. That was a
That's
cool
what I'm
story, by
saying.
the way.
But I'm assuming that was in El Paso. So I don't know that she has seen Frankus's band, but I'll tell you right now, if he makes it up to Oklahoma City or even anywhere near, I will be sure and reach out to her and say, hey, these
Didn't
guys.
he say something about Oklahoma City?
No, he didn't
I'm
mention. Well, I know he mentioned like a Texas tour, like hopefully.
No, but he was saying something like as far as his personal life. I'll have, when I watch back
Oh
the
no, no,
episode,
that's
I'll
where
see,
his
but I feel like
his stepkids are. I'm assuming
Okay,
with
yeah.
their dad is what I assume. I don't know
Yeah.
where in Oklahoma. He didn't say where in Oklahoma. He just said Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
But no, I would definitely say, Kendra, these guys opened up for your favorite band ever. Go see them.
And also, Frankus, when you watch this, I'll have got it ready. I'm definitely going to buy me a hoodie.
Frankus, you need to go to Oklahoma City. Just throwing that.
What'd
out
you
there.
say?
I said, Frankus, you need to go to Oklahoma City. Just throwing that out there.
Oh,
And I know there's some
Frankus
cool
don't own a
venues there.
hoodie.
What? No, what? What the hell are you talking about?
I was saying something and it glitched again.
God. Didn't glitch
But-
as much as what we talked about earlier when I mentioned the name
Yeah,
Audo
right.
Miguel.
Yeah, exactly. No, that was just the name. But we appreciate everybody for watching. We hope you check out the band Until the Avalanche. I still am a huge fan of that name. How did we not make any Colorado Avalanche joke connections on
Especially
that
with
one?
the hockey connection. He's a big hockey fan. I guess we
Yeah.
didn't really ever ask him how he became a hockey fan. That was dumb
Yeah,
of
that's
us.
true. Two hockey guys didn't ask the most
Weird.
obvious question.
We are the worst.
We suck.
You keep talking
But,
about my journalism skills, and I just blew that right out of the water.
Yeah, Cookie, I'm trying to keep the compliments flowing here, buddy. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
need
an
you to
idiot.
step up.
I'm an
I
idiot.
need you to be Shohei here.
Hang my head in shame.
But we thank everybody for watching. Definitely go check out the band. Check them all out. We'll put the links in the description here.
And to
This will be
hopefully all of our new followers and fans that are Frankus fans and Until the Avalanche fans, we love you. Make sure and like and subscribe and share and help us explode this. We are, as of last check, we were 21 away from 700 followers, but our first big goal is to get to 1,000 followers. So
Yep, we appreciate all the people that have been watching and supporting. We actually, some of the people that we were talking about, like that Carissa girl that's doing her interviews or her podcast, she'd be great to get on here because I'm curious as to what motivates her to be such a support and get into this kind of stuff.
yeah. Sounds like we need to get his band member on here too to talk about mental health.
Yeah, what a cool
Mando.
thing that
Yeah.
everybody in the band is actually part of something bigger.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's like I said this over, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. It's not my style of music. John knows that. It is John's style of music, but you can't deny. First of all, style or not, as John knows, I have a massive appreciation for musical talents, man. I don't care what your style is. You're on a whole other level as far as I'm concerned. Except
It's right when Cookie used to come watch me play acoustic shows. He never won.
John doing acoustic shows at random places in downtown Dallas where Jeremy.
No way, man. You supported me. It was Jeremy that caused all the problems.
But I'm a huge supporter of the arts of any kind, and I don't care if it's something that's in my wheelhouse or not. You know, the talent is there. I will never deny that.
Another thing we touched on last episode too, just about the need for them,
the need for art and music and sports for sure. It's a developmental thing. But like I said to him, it was, you know, there are people that are within his genre of music that need to hear these messages. There's people in my side of things that need to hear these messages, and we have our outlets to find those, and that's what's huge. So I'm a huge fan, even if the music might not be to my style. I'm a massive fan of what he's doing, and man, I'm gonna be a big fan moving forward, and hopefully huge success for Frankus and the boys.
Yep. Again, check them out on all the streaming platforms. I already got them followed on my Spotify, and definitely Craigie froze for a second, Cookie. So,
You've been freezing a lot, so I don't
I
want to.
froze a lot today too. I know. I've been trying to keep back. My face is already weird, so I've been trying to hold down.
I was probably
weirder faces.
like,
You're something along those lines.
Yeah.
I started laughing.
Yeah.
But, we appreciate everybody watching and listening. Again, go check them out, and we will catch you on Friday for the whatever the sports episode is going to be.
we don't know yet. We did a short one. That'll be up.
We might honestly have to talk about Shohei for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
'cause
we
this guy's
did a little
beast.
short sports one, which I'm saying this now. We don't even know exactly when we're posting that, so it might already be out, or it might come out after this one. We don't know yet. We'll figure it out.
I'll figure that out. We'll see how awake I am a little bit later.
Yeah. All right.
But
Thanks,
it's only
guys.
8 o'clock for me, so all right. To be weird, Cookie. Do your weird thing. Thanks, guys.
I can't yell like Frankus, so